Si quieren asistir a este video en español, por favor cliquen en el link en la descripción.
Hi guys, my name is Thales. I'm from Plugin, and I'm here to walk through the calibration for a 2023 Audi A3 that we performed on one of the places that we provided service for. This place is in particular has a lot of different models and makes. So right now we're gonna to walk through this whole calibration process. Just as a reminder, this video is gonna be more like a bird eyes views about the calibration. We will skip a lot of steps during this calibration, but we are gonna to make sure that the videos is more dynamic. And if you guys would like to have a step-by-step video, please make sure to comment on the comments below, and we will make sure that we can provide this type of content for you guys. Okay, let's start it. All right. Okay, so first of all, here we are having this car which had the windshield replaced, and right here they wrote down that we need to do the front radar calibration and also the front camera calibration. At this point, we are not sure what type of job we need to perform on this car because we didn't even do the pre-scan. They usually they write down what you need to do at this place where we work for, and most of the times they are correct, but at some times they're not correct. And we're gonna see at this video that some things that they said it was needed to do perform it to be performed, we didn't perform it because we didn't see the needing for this. Okay, so let's keep going. Oh, the video is in two times. Okay, let me. Where do I change it? Onde eu mudo? Aqui. Okay. All right. So windshield was replaced. Okay. Just to make sure, um, this windshield was replaced. So our first guess is that we are going to need to calibrate the front camera. But I don't know if they did something else on the front radar because at this point I just saw what they wrote down at the window, and I need to make sure by doing the pre-scan what we will need to perform on this car. So let's keep going. Okay, let me advance this a little bit. Oops. Tá. Oh, okay. All right. I was just having some lessons here of how I'll go forward with the video. Okay, let's get back. So let me advance a little bit more this part. Let me see. So at this point right here, we cannot see very well because of the brightness that is coming from outside, and this is making some reflections in the mirror. But right here at this place is where the lane departure camera is located. And you might ask yourself, what is the function of this camera? Function of this camera at in some models, it will be responsible for warning you that you're going off the lanes. This is what we call lane departure warning system. But at some other models, this will be responsible for keep you in between lanes. That's what we call lane keep assist system, LKAS. So usually this is located right in the middle of the windshield where you place your rear view mirror. And every time that we perform a windshield replacement on the car, it's always um, a good standard to to do a calibration of the lane departure. Just to just a little disclaimer before we move forward. So here I was like analyzing the position of the camera because it's always a good thing to have a little look and see how it is placed. Because from that you can see if it's like a little bit higher or lower than their standard point, and then you can already do one check with which is check if the position of the camera is correct. This is always the first thing we do when we encounter any type of problem related to the calibration itself. So let's keep going here. So let me advance this part. I was trying to see it better, so I turned off the lantern here, right? And I saw that it was in a good position. And yeah, so next step is to do the pre-scan of the calibration. Okay, let me advance this a little bit more. All right, let's see here. Okay, so at this point right here, I plugged already the VCI. I forgot to tell you guys about that. I plugged the VCI on the OBD2 of the car, which is for some models it is actually for most of the models it is located down below the steering wheel, and usually it's right on the left side. Some cars are in the middle, but if you go to look around that place, you for sure you guys will find where the OBD2 is. Okay, here after I connected the VCI, the tablet, which is in this case we are using an Altel tablet. There are other brands for these tablets, these tools. Um, Usually the software is always the same. So everything from the front view or the front end that you're seeing there is gonna always be the same. Just a little bit of the bottom locations will be different, but the basics and the measurements will always be the same no matter what type of brand you are using. In this case, we are using Altel, which is the brand that we are using for like over 4 years already. So here, after the connection is done, it's reading the VIN number. For some cars, the VIN number is it's read automatically, and you can always it. Sorry, for some cars, the VIN number is read correctly, and it will detect the make, the model, the shape of the vehicle, and all other information that are important for this type of job, for doing first of all the diagnostic of the car. So for some models, you will have to put some informations manually, which is gonna be some a little bit of the case of this Audi. And eventually, when we are doing more calibrations, you will see the different types and the different models, make and models, and how we are going to proceed with each one of these. If you guys have any questions specifically by a make and a model, you guys can comment below, and we can always try to respond and make sure that you guys can interact with us. Let's see here. So I did the VIN number. So at this point, let me. I'm not. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, so here is asking for which region, from which region is this Audi that I'm currently calibrating. So basically what I did is that I selected that this Audi is from USA slash Canada. The other option I believe is the rest of the world or European, and in this case we are calibrating a car from USA. So I choose the USA and Canada option. Then I hit it OK. So at this point, uh, Audi is asking you to do a do IP procedure. This is usually a gateway that will allow you to have access to diagnostic some other modules of the vehicle. If you don't do this do IP, you will still be able to have a diagnostic of the Audi, but maybe you will not have the full diagnostic of this Audi. What I did here is that at first I hit no, as you guys gonna see here, because I noticed that I didn't have Wi-Fi connected to my tablet. And it's really important that you have connection so your tablet can communicate with whatever software is in the cloud, and it's gonna help you to perform the full diagnostic of the vehicle. So I will get back, do it again. Here I'm gonna connect to the Wi-Fi, and then I erase the other pre-scan I tried to do. Right now it's communicating with the vehicle. I put it the information of the car. Oh, and it's really important here, this part. Um, basically, we from plugin we do a lot of cars every day. So we have our own system which we use to identificate which car we are doing and when we are doing this car, because there are cars that we have working on it multiple times, but it's never gonna be at the same day. So what we use it is that we use the license, or if the car doesn't have a license, it will eventually have a VIN. So we put the license or the last 8 digits of the VIN, and then we put the date when we did this job. So here we make sure that we are organized, because this is a job of details. So whenever you are working with ADAS, it's always good to make sure to eat that you follow each step, and then you make sure that you have a lot of attention to the details. Okay, so now I'm gonna do okay. I'm gonna select USA and Canada, and then when they ask me to do the do IP, I will say yes. So now they will communicate with the cloud and have the right informations for the car. Okay, let's wait. Okay, let's. So I'm gonna hit OK. And then now first of all, always when you are doing any car that goes to your shop, make sure that you do the pre-scan before you even touch the car. With that, you're gonna make sure that you don't bring any problem to your business, and also you will see what you're gonna work with before you even start. And actually, it's a good thing of the software that you can never do any type of ADAS process before doing a pre-scan on the car. So um, by following the steps on the tablet, you will make sure that you're going to do a really good job, and that is gonna you're gonna keep your shop safe for any issue that you're gonna have forward later on your car, okay, or on the car that you're working on, okay. So now I'm gonna do the fold scan. So right here, let me go back a little bit. Here they are gonna ask for a little bit more informations of the vehicle. Some cars they read all of the informations, never the license plate. The license plates you will always have to put it manually. In this case, we put it twice because we always put this on the title, and the software itself always asks for the license of the vehicle. So here I'm gonna put the license of the vehicle, and as you guys can see here, the car already read the odometer of the vehicle. Some brands will not read this automatically, so you will have to go to the cluster of the car, check it, and then you will see if you will write it down here manually. Other cars like the Mercedes, they will ask you to put the year of the vehicle, and some other cars you will have to even put the VIN number manually. And for example, cars that Autel doesn't cover up to the moment, so you'll have to put everything manually and then do the diagnostic. For some cars, I know it's a little bit frustrating, but Autel, uh, in this case, Autel, I'm gonna talk specifically about Autel because other softwares maybe they release the software earlier, but some cars they need a little bit more time to work on the software and then release it to the users. Okay, make sure that sometimes you're gonna have this type of problem. You can always call the whatever brand you're using. Can always call the customer services and they will help you and see if they will release this. If it is already released and then your tablet is not updated, make sure that your tablet is always updated because that can lead to issues even with the communication with your VCI, or make you not calibrating the car that you were looking to do the job on. Okay, so writing the license, and now it's doing the pre-scan of the vehicle. Okay, while they're doing the pre-scan, make sure that you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel and click on the like button. And also, if you guys have any suggestion or any other type of car that you guys want to have it calibrated or see or learn about, make sure you guys comment, and we will always check what you guys comment, and we're gonna make our best to bring it for you. And then if you're not, if you have any also any advices, we will always be here to listen and make sure that we do the best of the content, the best content we can do for you guys. Okay, so just having a sip on the drink of the gods, coffee, black coffee, no sugar. Okay. Um. Okay. So let me go back here a little bit. So here I finished the pre-scan, and I noticed that there was some errors, but at this point I didn't check yet which errors we had. At First of all, let me explain you. At this business that we work for, we are always we need to take care of the ADAS. We don't need to take care of any other module of the car that are having problems. So always our main focus is to make sure that the advances oh, pera, okay. Okay, pera. So just to make sure here, um there are some errors on this car, and I know that sometimes you have to take care of other modules or anything, but at this business that we are working and we're doing business with, we are only responsible to work with the ADAS. So everything else we will oops. Everything else we will need to if there's any other problem with the on the vehicle that is not related to ADAS, we will send to someone else that is specialized on that and they will work on it. Okay. So so here I had to go off the pre-scan because always so as a standard of the software, you always have to do a pre-scan before you perform the job itself. So here I first of all I did the pre-scan, and then the software doesn't allow you to do the calibration while you are in the pre-scan. This is good because you always have to make sure that you're doing the pre-scan before you do the calibration. So now the software does only allow me to do the calibration after I go out the pre-scan mode and I come back on the post-scan mode. So here I'm clicking back on the diagnostic and I'm having access to the Audi. All right. Here, let me advance this a little bit more because I had to do the do IP again. So it's communicated with the cloud. Oh, so here I'm starting to get on the ADAS feature of the software. Before they do the ADAS diagnostic of this vehicle, we will have to to select what is the body type of this vehicle. So here is showing sedan, saloon, and the other one. What is the other one? And we believe that the other one is Avant. So at this on this case on this Audi A3, we selected saloon because we already did this car before and we tried to do the calibration and we selected sedan, which is looking at the car and seeing its specs is the it like we could think that this is the right body type for the vehicle, but while we're doing the calibration didn't go through and it was loading forever. And with experience we realized that the problem was the model or the body type of the vehicle. So that's why first thing I did was is that I clicked it on the saloon. And then if you guys this can be another whole video if you guys want to that we explain you guys about this body type situation. We can show you guys an example where this doesn't work, and we can explain you guys step by step how you can go through this and always try to do a good diagnostic and troubleshoot. Okay, so I'm gonna select Salon here. Okay, here. Okay, now I'm doing a fold scan, and now I'm gonna have like not a bird eyes view of the whole car, but I'm gonna have a view only of the ADAS of this vehicle, and that's what I'm interested on. And we will notice that there is some errors as you guys gonna see here right now. Let me advance this a little bit and I'm gonna show you guys what I'm talking about. So we are having errors on the adaptive cruise control and also on the lane departure, and there was another module that I cannot read from here, but we are having errors. But as I remember when I did this calibration, most of these errors were related to the camera. So the windshield was replaced. At some point, they had to disconnect the camera and connect it back, and it's always gonna, not always, but most of the time, it's gonna flash an error that's gonna be sporadic or history, and you will always be able to erase this error and move forward. Let's see here. So let's erase the codes. So here I'm erasing the codes just to check which errors are permanent and which errors I'm not gonna be able to erase only using this feature of the software, and I will have to like only doing perform by performing a calibration or maybe a hardware replacement. It will depend of the DTC, and you will always have to search and check what's going on and read the documentation, because this will help us a lot to pass through this situation and eventually calibrate the car. So here what happened is that there was nor a current error or not a permanent error. So I was able to erase everything, but as it is a standard to do the lane camera calibration every time you replace a windshield, even though there is no error showing here, my responsibility is to do the calibration and return the car, making sure that the ADAS system is working fine and is safety for the customer drive the car. So I did a fault scan again just to make sure that any error could like uh, fly on. Everything was good, so I decided to do only the land camera calibration because we had replaced the windshield, as you guys gonna see here. Let's wait a little bit. Oh, here. So for some models, I'm talking about Autel this time particularly. Autel already released the calibration for specifically for some Audis, the dynamic calibration. But I decided to do the static calibration as I wanted to do a demonstration and a eyes view of uh, this car, of this make and model, and how you guys can proceed in doing a static calibration on this car. So I'm gonna choose uh, 00A5 calibration. I'm nervous. Okay, so let me go back here a little bit. So here I'm basically doing what I already told you guys. I'm selecting why I'm doing this calibration because will show on the post scan that you're doing, and you eventually have to show to your customer. And here I'm just selecting that I'm doing this calibration because we replaced the windshield. So okay, here so here it will depends of the type of tools you have with you on your shop, and which frame you bought from Altel, from Snap-on. Everything is going to be the same, but the tools that you're going to use are going to be different. Some you're going to use, so here some machines are sold with the tape measurement, and others are sold with the laser measurement. In this case, I'm gonna choose tape measurement, which is the one that we have here on our on this place that we are performing the job. Here is asking if your car is parked on the levers on a level surface or on a flat surface. On this case, the car is on the ground, so I'm gonna choose flat surface. Here they're asking the pattern, as you guys can see here and here, are the same, but here's just they just want to make sure if the you connect the target through here or through the bottom. So I'm gonna select 8 because this is the one we have. And then at this point, this is good to show you guys because even though I did it really fast to make it more dynamic, the machine will tell you everything that you need to do to perform this calibration. So here, all the tools that you selected and the tools needed to perform this calibration will be shown on the screen that before you start to even to do the measurement. So you can always like go grab the tools, separate the tools, and then come back here and follow to the next step. So here are some standards that they ask you. As we do this a lot, we know already that what we need to do. But if you guys want that we do like a more in depth about all of these procedures, we can always upload a new video and show you guys step by step how we do this. Okay, let's keep going. So here, the machine is showing a few steps. So, which frame you're gonna use. Make sure that your frame is aligned before you start to do the measurements. Here is showing to point the laser to the middle of the vehicle. Um, here is already telling you what would be the distance that you guys need to use. So at this case, it's showing like a distance A, which is from the back of this bar right here of the frame until the middle of the wheel of the car. Okay, at on this case the measurement here is 1492 millimeters. So on our machine we use international measurement units, but if you guys want we can also make a video with a car using imperial units. It will be the same. And also it is easier for us to use millimeters because it's a little bit more precise, but you guys can feel free to use whatever system of units you guys want. Okay, so here is showing 1492, as I said, millimeters. So right now I'm gonna place uh this little target here in the middle of the wheel. Okay, just want to make sure that the it's really well positioned, and I'm gonna turn on the laser measurement. Even though I I choose the tape measurement, it's just like the tool that you're gonna use. The measurement is the same. So as you guys can see here, even I I tapped that I have a tape measurement, but I'm gonna use a laser measurement. This is not a big deal. It's just the tool. What is important and that you need to pay attention is the measurements. Okay. So here I'm gonna make sure. Oh, as you guys can see here, uh, let me go. These two targets that I'm using, if we go back a little bit, you guys can see here these two targets that I'm using is from a previous car that we did, which was a Nissan, and this is not the right one for Audi. We're gonna eventually use this big pattern that is right behind here against the wall, but just to explain you guys this is not the right target. It's because we do a lot of cars, so we always replace as we need. Okay, so I'm gonna put the laser measurement to the side and then move the frame a little bit down just to make sure that the the laser measurement it's gonna go to the target that I put it on the side here. So now I'm reading the measurement and I'm going up to the point that is 1495, 92, 14. So I'm going make sure that I'm going check it up to the point that is 1492 millimeters, which is the OEM standard for doing the calibration on this Audi. So here I'm making sure that the frame is stick to the ground and it's not gonna move anywhere because I need this to be precise. Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna remove this frame. First, I'm gonna remove the targets, put it back to the place here. So let me move a little bit forward. And then I took the pattern, and then I remembered that I had to remove the frame. Yeah, you have to make sure that you remove the frame before you put the pattern. So I made some effort with no point. So now I'm gonna remove the frame, and let me advance this a little bit. Take the pattern, put the pattern here, screw the safety. Um, and then I'm gonna to the next step. So this part right here is showing the wheel clamps. The wheel clamps are important so you can know that the angle of your frame is at the same angle that your car is parked. You're never gonna park your car um, perfectly straight. It's gonna always like be bent to a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. So the wheel clamps are to make sure that your frame is at the same angle that your car is parked. Um, as I said, to make it more dynamic, I jump these steps. But if you guys want, we can always make a video step by step of how you guys use the wheel clamps in order to have the right angle for your calibration. Okay. All right, so now, okay. So here's the pattern that I'm using, the pattern that you use to calibrate Audis and also some Volkswagens. Here is to make sure that the bubble or the levels are good. So sometimes you're gonna have some level that is gonna affect a little bit of your calibration. So always try to make sure that the bubbles are the level is good. And as this ground is pretty flat, it's the level is fine. So now I'm checking that on the B side that I'm going to show here. So here's the ruler where you measure the height of your frame. So right here at this side is the B side, and I'm going to make sure that the measurement of the height is the right one. So here I'm showing you guys. And then for this car, we need a height of 1090. So I will have to move the height a little bit low. Here you see that I released the ruler so we can touch the ground and I can assure that the height is from the ground all the way to the right measurement that is OEM standard. Always make sure that you guys put the ruler to the ground because I already did a tried to do a whole calibration and I forgot to put the ruler on the ground, and of course it didn't work, okay? So, details. So let's move it down here. All right, let's go back to the tablet, always following step by step that the software is showing you. Okay, another sip to the on the coffee, and let's wait. While we are waiting here, make sure you guys subscribe. Okay, let me advance this a little bit. So right here, sorry the camera didn't show really well, but right here, the Audi always asks you to choose the drive select. That is because uh, Audis have different types of suspensions, and each type of no, actually there is one type of suspension that automatically changes of depending of the way you want to drive your vehicle or and where you want to drive your vehicle. But for performing the calibration, Audi always ask for you to use the comfort drive mode. So what I'm gonna do is change the drive mode to comfort. So as you guys can see, here is the button where you can change the drive mode of the Audis. For some cars, some other Audis, it could be in a different place, but always in this middle panel of the dashboard, okay? I'm saying always, but sometimes don't. Never take anything that I say 100%, but okay. Selecting here, so here, as you guys can see, there is like comfort, auto, dynamic, and individual. Individual, it's I believe it's the one that you choose. Uh, Actually, I don't know. Let me cut this part. Ah, você escolhe. Ok. Ah, ok. Okay. So here at this panel, you guys can see that it has like comfort, auto, dynamic, and individual. These are the drive options that you can choose for your suspensions. And the individual, you will do this as you want. So you can modify some features to comfort, some features to auto, some features to dynamic. It's up to you. On this case, I'm going to choose comfort to do the calibration. So good. So here they're just doing their standards. They are telling you to make sure that your ignition is on, which means ignition on, engine off. So just you seeing the screen, the car is communicating, but the engine is off, okay? And then doors and hood closed, no people on the payload, so nobody in the car, and make sure that you don't have any electric faults while you're doing the calibration, okay? So let's ignition is on. Now I'm gonna close the door and we will finally perform the calibration. As you guys can see, a lot of details before you even do the calibration. Because if you don't follow this, the calibration will fail. And we will upload some videos of failing because this not always like this. As you guys gonna see, the calibration will work just fine. Everything's gonna be good. But this is one case. Some other case, this will work perfectly fine. Um, but life is not like this, and eventually you will have some problems. So always make sure and keep your eyes on the details. Okay, as you guys can see, I'm reading what's going on, but I already explained to you guys. Oh, and here, that's good because this is an update. Before, Audi used to tell you to only use the comfort mode in order to do calibration, but here is saying comfort or auto. So you guys can always choose between comfort or auto. At least for this Audi A3 right here is showing that you can choose either one of these driving modes, okay? And here it's a lot of steps. Also about this, if you guys want a step by step, make sure you guys comment below and we will always make sure that we can upload videos that you guys want, okay? And now it's performing the calibration. Oh, actually, it's not. Because this is a step that I always forget. And some cars, they ask for it, some cars don't. But for this Audi, you have to measure the arc height of your vehicle, the arcs of the front and the arcs of the back. So, what is the arc? The distance between the ground and the top of the arc that is on top of your wheel. So always this distance between the ground here and this part right here. I'm gonna take the tape. Let me advance this a little bit. So I'm measuring it 670 for the front, and I believe it's 690 for the back. Here I'm writing this down. Okay. All right. Now everything is good. Let's click OK. Now it's performing the calibration. And then I'm hoping that everything is working. I'm crossing my fingers and calibration is completed. So everything is good. Oh, actually, calibration status active. See, I'm too anxious. Let's wait. Okay, now it's showing that the calibration was done. So here you guys can see, you guys maybe cannot see because even I cannot see, but it's the calibration is good as as you guys can see here. Here's showing the calibration results. So it will show you the height, the width, the angle, all of the values that the lane camera reads while you're doing the calibration. And one thing that is important, whenever, like, as you guys saw here, this car had no error related to the calibration. We did this because we replaced the windshield and this is a standard. Whenever you guys try to whenever you guys attempt to do a calibration and it fails, even though the car didn't have any error previously, it will fire an error related to the camera if your calibration doesn't work. Which means that every time you're doing the calibration, the car will erase the previous values and input new values. If these values are wrong, the calibration will fail and you have to do everything again or make sure step by step what was wrong. It can be the height, can be the distance, it can be the brightness, it can be the position of the camera, it can be something is not well connected, it could be a lot of things. So that's why I will always keep telling you guys to pay attention to the details. Details are very important while you guys are doing an ADAS calibration, okay? So I'm taking a screenshot because always when we do a calibration and the result is it's okay, it's success, we take a screenshot to prove that one is to prove that we did the calibration and everything was good. Other is to keep on our files, keep on documents so the customer can have everything that was done on this car, okay? So here, so if there, as I said, while you're doing the calibration, you will fire an error on the lane departure because the what the car does is erase the previous values and then it will insert new values. So this will fire an error and maybe no. And the software, I'm sorry, the software will erase this error after your calibration is succeeded. Okay, so let's wait a little bit. Now it's asking me to turn the ignition off, so I will reset the car. So the car is now communicating with the camera. Some cars you don't need to do this reset, turn the ignition off and the ignition on, like on the like on the cycle the how can I explain it? On the cycle that the car did previously, it will show that there's an error, but once you do the calibration and everything is succeeded on the next cycle, it will show that the calibration was done. So some cars you don't need to do the reset. On this case, on the Audis, we need to do turn the ignitions off and then turn the ignition on. So I'm turning this off, then it's gonna ask me to back on. Please wait. And then the calibration succeeded. I took another screenshot and it's gonna end the test. Perfect. Now I'm escaping this ADAS calibration and I'm going to do a pulse scan because always the car comes to our hands. We do a pre-scan, we perform the job, and we do a post-scan to show how the car came to our hands and how we're gonna give this car back to the customer. Okay, so post-scan. All right, let's do the post-scan. Now that the calibration is performed, I can leave the door open. You can you don't have any other standard that you have to keep on your car in order to the diagnostic be performed. Okay. I was changing here. Let me advance this a little bit. And then I'm gonna erase the problem that it was reading on the window. And then here, after I finish the calibration, I'm gonna attach the screenshots I took, showing that everything was performed fine. Oops. Okay. So here I'm gonna attach the screenshots. And then as you guys can see here, there are still some DTCs on the car. But as I said previously, we are responsible to do the ADAS and make sure that the ADAS is working fine and properly once we return the car to our customer. But whenever we notice that there is like an error that is sporadic or history, we always make sure that we erase these errors so we can give the car clean back to the customer, okay? If the error is not sporadic or history, if it's a permanent or current error, it will keep showing on the diagnostic and the customer can do send it to another professional to perform any type of job that is needed on this car. The good thing is that with this type of diagnostic, the next professional will have all of the information they need, and they will know right away what needs to be done on this car. Okay, so here I stopped it to record it because everything was performed correctly and the calibration was done. Um, I want to thank you guys come come to this channel and watch this video. Um, Please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, comments, and please press the like button. Um, I'm always glad to be here and sharing a little bit of my knowledge with you. And also, I'm here to learn from you. So if you guys have any advice or any comments that is important, please make sure you guys comment. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.